Hey there, guys! In this video, we're going to explore how a woman's age can influence the way she expresses romantic interest. We'll be focusing on women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and discussing the common behaviors and cues you might notice in each age group. As men, understanding these differences can be a game changer in navigating your interactions with women and making more informed decisions in your dating life. So let's jump right in. First up, let's talk about women in their 20s. These ladies are often in a phase of self-discovery and exploration, which means their approach to dating and relationships can be more casual and experimental. They're figuring out what they want in a partner and in life, so their dating behavior might reflect that. One of the most common ways women in their 20s express interest is through frequent communication, especially via text or social media. If a woman in her 20s is consistently sliding into your DMs, liking your posts, or commenting on your photos, it could be a sign that she's digging your vibe. In person, she might be all about the flirty body language, like holding eye contact, playing with her hair, or finding excuses to get a little closer. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Dating women in their 20s sounds like a wild ride, and you're not wrong. But before you start planning your next skydiving date, let's talk about how social media and dating apps have changed the game. With the rise of platforms like Instagram and Tinder, women in their 20s are used to having a constant stream of potential suitors at their fingertips. So, if you want to stand out, you've got to bring your A game. Think flirty texts that showcase your wit and charm, and dates that cater to her sense of adventure. Maybe that means trying out a new hiking trail or taking a cooking class together. The key is to show her that you're not just another face in her feed, but someone who can keep up with her exciting lifestyle. But here's the thing. Women in their 20s are often juggling a lot. They're focused on their education, career, travel, or hobbies, which can impact their availability and commitment to a serious relationship. So, if a woman in her 20s wants to bring you along on her adventures or share her passions with you, take it as a good sign. Just keep in mind that relationships with women in their 20s can be a bit of a roller coaster. They're still figuring out their long-term goals and desires, so there might be some uncertainty and changes in their dating behaviors. The key is to keep the lines of communication open about expectations and intentions. When you're dating a woman in her 20s, be ready to go with the flow. Embrace the excitement and spontaneity that comes with this life stage, but also be prepared for the possibility of shifting priorities and evolving needs. Now, while dating women in their 20s can be exciting and fun, there are a few red flags to keep an eye out for. If she's constantly flaking on plans or seems hot and cold with her interest, it might be a sign that she's not ready for a serious commitment. Similarly, if she's always glued to her phone or seems more interested in capturing the perfect Instagram story than engaging with you, it could be an indication that her priorities aren't quite in line with yours. Now, let's move on to women in their 30s. By this point, they usually have a clearer sense of self and a better idea of what they're looking for in a partner. Their approach to dating becomes more intentional and focused on building meaningful connections. If a woman in her 30s is into you, she'll want to dive deep in conversation. We're talking about discussing life experiences, goals, and values. If she's asking you thought-provoking questions and really listening to your answers, it's a sign that she wants to understand who you are as a person. Consistency and reliability are also big deals for women in their 30s when it comes to romantic relationships. If she's making an effort to keep in touch regularly and initiate plans to hang out, it shows that she sees potential in your connection and is willing to invest in its growth. Small gestures that prove you're dependable, like following through on promises and being there for her emotionally, can go a long way. Speaking of emotions, did you know that women in their 30s tend to have a higher emotional intelligence compared to their younger counterparts? Studies have shown that emotional intelligence continues to develop well into adulthood, which means that women in this age group are often more understanding and managing their own emotions, as well as empathizing with others. So when you're having those deep conversations with a woman in her 30s, don't be afraid to open up and share your own feelings and experiences. She'll likely appreciate your vulnerability and emotional maturity, which can help strengthen your bond. Women in their 30s often have established careers and social circles, so when they start bringing you into their world, it's a good sign. This could mean introducing you to their friends and family, including you in important events or decisions, or carving out space for you in their busy lives. These actions show that she sees you as a significant part of her life and is considering a long-term partnership. But keep in mind that women in their 30s might be a bit more cautious when it comes to relationships, especially if they've had some tough experiences in the past. They may take their time opening up emotionally and committing to something serious. The best thing you can do is be patient, understanding, and communicate openly. Show her that you're emotionally mature and stable, and you'll create a solid foundation of trust and security. When dating women in their 30s, it's important to be aware of a few potential red flags. If she's constantly comparing you to her ex or brings up past relationships frequently, it could be a sign that she hasn't fully healed from previous heartbreaks. Additionally, if she's unwilling to compromise or prioritize your needs alongside her own, it might be an indication that she's not ready for a balanced, mature relationship. Finally, let's talk about women in their 40s. These women have been through a lot and have a strong sense of who they are. They tend to be more direct and self-assured when it comes to dating and relationships. One thing you'll notice about women in their 40s is that they don't beat around the bush. If they're interested in you, they'll likely express their feelings and intention clearly, without playing games or leaving you guessing. They'll let you know what they appreciate about you, discuss their desire for a real connection, and communicate their expectations for the relationship. Women in their 40s who are into you will also put effort into creating shared experiences that align with your common interests and values. They might suggest activities or dates that allow you to connect on a deeper level and build a strong foundation for your relationship. This could be anything from intimate conversations over dinner to exciting getaways that create a sense of partnership and companionship. As relationships with women in their 40s progress, they may start integrating you into their established lives. This could mean introducing you to their kids, if they have any, bringing you along to family gatherings, or talking about future plans that involve you. These actions show that they trust you and are open to a committed, long-term partnership. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: dating a woman with children. If you find yourself attracted to a woman in her 40s who has kids, it's important to understand that her children will always be a top priority. This doesn't mean there isn't room for you in her life, but it does require a certain level of understanding and flexibility. When dating a woman with children, be respectful of her time and responsibilities as a parent. Show interest in her kids and be supportive of her role as a mother. At the same time, don't be afraid to express your own needs and desires in the relationship. Open communication is key to navigating this dynamic successfully. It's also worth noting that women in their 40s have often developed a strong sense of independence and self-sufficiency. While they may want a loving partnership, they also value maintaining their own identities and interests. Finding a balance between togetherness and individual growth is key to a successful relationship with a woman in this age group. Interestingly, research has shown that women in their 40s often report higher levels of satisfaction in their relationships compared to younger women. This could be due to a combination of factors, including increased self-awareness, emotional maturity, and a better understanding of what they want in a partner. While dating women in their 40s can lead to a deeply fulfilling connection, there are a few red flags to watch out for. If she's unwilling to introduce you to her children or keeps you separate from her family life, it could be a sign that she's not fully ready to integrate you into her world. Similarly, if she's overly critical of your every move or tries to change you, it might be an indication that she's projecting her own insecurities onto the relationship. As a man, it's crucial to trust your instincts and pay attention to any red flags that may arise. Remember, a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect and open communication. If you find yourself constantly questioning a woman's intentions or feeling like you have to compromise your own needs and values, it may be time to reevaluate the relationship. On the flip side, when you find a woman who is emotionally mature, supportive, and aligned with your goals and values, don't be afraid to invest in that connection. If you found this information helpful, consider subscribing to Afterschool Psychology for more content tailored to your dating journey and self-improvement. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.